Today we're going to be going over what the future of finance and real estate is going to be for 2021 and moving forward. So I'm Pascal Corcus. For you guys who don't know who I am, Pascal Corcus. So I have a financial firm and a real estate investment company. We're having technical difficulties. Give me 1 second. Everything all right?
Battery keeps saying exhausted.
All right, guys. Let's give it a second for it to. Let me see. All right, so I'm good on my charge.
Yeah, that's good.
1 second, guys. You good now?
Yeah.
All right, welcome back. All right, well, I'm back now. On YouTube, it does look a little bit darker than it does on IG, but I guess it's fine. All right, guys. So today's is it connected?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We should have prepared this at a time. Anyway, so on today's episode of Q&A, I just came back from the Investor Summit on the Sand. We had Dr. Doug Duncan with Fannie Mae there. We had Robert Kiyosaki, Ken McElroy. We had Peter Schiff was supposed to be there, but he wasn't there. We have Kim Kiyosaki there. We had George Gammon there. We had a lot of very successful investors at the event. And today we're going to be going over the key takeaways from that event. And we're going to be going over the strategies moving forward and how to implement them personally. So we're having more technical difficulties on YouTube. So
Do you want to continue on Instagram?
what's that?
You want to continue on Instagram while I figure this out?
Yeah, sure. So, hey guys, I'm going to take a minute. Today's episode is about how much Pascal can bench in the gym. That's fun. All right, so we're going to give it a minute for YouTube to kind of fix itself, and then we're going to kind of get back to YouTube as well. I asked some questions. I'll answer some questions for you guys on IG, and I will do that until we figure things out on YouTube. So Nano's first question is, can you explain how I am able to be the owner of my home while putting the debt under my co-borrower's name? I tried to do this with my current lender, but the co-borrower couldn't qualify on her own. So that's the point, Nano, is that in this scenario that there's two people that own the property, for example, let's just say it's you and your dad. Even though you both are on the property, your dad could qualify by himself and you could also be on the loan. So there's a lot of partnerships that happen between individuals. One person is the working partner and one person is the credit partner that has a good credit and balance sheet that can qualify for the loan. So in that scenario, people can partner up. One person gets the loan in their name, the other partner is actually going to do all the work. So in the scenario that I gave you where you could do that, it's obviously requires that the person that you're using can qualify for a loan. You can't just grab a random person on the street that doesn't have enough income or has bad credit or something like that. You have to pick a co-borrower that can qualify by themselves, right? So if in your situation, if that doesn't work, then you need to reassess your strategy. That's why, guys, when I'm giving you guys ideas and concepts, these are ideas and concepts. If you want a specific strategy that's going to work for you, you have to set up a consultation call because there's so many moving parts. If you're giving me some pieces of information, I'm going to give you a strategy. But if you're missing pieces, then it might not work for you. So it's really important that you get a strategist on a call so they can set up a plan of action so you can successfully move forward and win. So that's the issue. You hit it on the head. It works if you have a borrower that can qualify. If you picked a borrower that cannot qualify, then you need to pick a different co-borrower. All right. So Nano's other question says, after 1 year of my home purchase, I currently in the process of doing my rate and term refi. With a score of 700, I'm going to go from 3.5 to 2.99, getting rid of my PMI. Is there anything I should ask for that's going to help my refi? What should I look out for from these lenders? Well, obviously, you hit it on the head. You looked at your rate. You looked at you're getting rid of your PMI, which is important. The next thing you need to consider is, am I paying any fees? Like, am I paying any points to do this? That's another thing for you to consider. So the amount of savings you're getting, you have to calculate, what are you saving on your interest rate? What are you saving on PMI? That amount of money, let's just say it's $100 a month. You're going to have to calculate, what's it going to cost you to do this? So if the refi is going to cost you, let's say $5,000, it's going to take you 4 years to recoup your money, which could be a good idea. If you're a 4-year recoup period, and especially if it brings down your payments, $100 a month, that can open up the ability to borrow another $25,000. So when you're in the smaller deals, it's harder to make it work. But once you start doing bigger deals, you start doing $500,000 refinances and $1 million refinances, then it starts becoming bigger and bigger, and it starts making a larger impact. But that's great. That's awesome, Nano. How can I homestead my primary residence in New Jersey? What is the process? So normally, again, I cannot speak about New Jersey because I don't own any property there, but in Florida, normally you would go to the county and you would show them that the property is your primary residence. So you fill out an application with the county and showing that proving that it is your primary residence, and that then you would be able to get the reduced taxes, and you would have the homestead set on your property. Nano's next question says, does cashing out on a Heloc affect credit score due to the utilization rate? Is there a cash advance charge? So every Heloc is different. Normally, there is not a cash advance charge. Does taking money out of your Heloc affect your credit score? Not really, to be honest, because on a Heloc, they normally assess the full amount against your income if you use it or you don't use it. Either way, they're assessing it. So normally it does not have an impact on your credit score, but if you're applying for a loan, it will have an impact on your utilization rate. Maro says, hey, how are you doing? I just moved to Canada. I will try to raise my credit score so I can take a loan on my first deal. Awesome, Maros. That's awesome. Did you get the vaccine, Pascal? No, I did not. This is a fake account. Hey, Pascal, I love your content. Thanks, fake account. What's up?
I'm just testing to see if it worked.
I mean, it looks like it's working on YouTube. Everyone on YouTube, How's it looking? Is the connection better? Let me know in the comment section. So you have a question regarding refinancing interest. Guys, put the question in the question section. This way it's easier for me to answer you. All right. Ronald says, Pascal, what's up? Ronald says, it's good. Daniel, Moses, and Ronald says, it's good. Awesome. Thanks, guys. All right. So AU says, did mortgage applications increase on refinancing interest? Why? So the answer is yes. The amount of people looking to refinance in the United States skyrocketed in the last year. You know, last year you could get a 30-year home mortgage for like 2.5%. It was crazy. Now we're looking about 2.99 for a home mortgage, sometimes 2.79 on a 30-year rate. I mean, 2.69 on a 30-year rate. It all depends on your credit, the amount of money you're borrowing, your home value, like lots of factors. But the point is, overall, we are still at record low prices for interest rates. I mean, 3.5 is crazy low. When I was getting mortgages when I first started, when I was like 19, 20, 21, one of my loans was 5%, another one was 6%, another one was 7%, one of them was 8%. So now you would say, why are you getting an 8% loan? Back then, 8% on a investment property loan was very good. And you could get in a decent area a 10 cap property, because between the interest rate and the cap rate, the spread was 2 to 3 points. That was a good deal. Today, you're getting interest around 2.69 for a homeowner, but if you're an investment property, you're looking at more like 3.5. If you're getting a rate at 3.5, if you're buying properties at a 5.5 or 6.5 cap, you're still making the same spread. It's 2 to 3 points. So everyone's like, oh, the cap rates are so compressed. Cap rates are compressed because interest rates are compressed. So the money you're making is a spread. And if you don't understand that spread, that arbitrage, then you don't understand the game. You have to study that. So it doesn't matter what you're paying for the property, and it doesn't matter what you're paying for the loan. What matters is, are you making a spread in the middle? How big is that spread? And are you setting it up in a conservative manner that if you lose tenants, you're still bringing in enough money to cover all your expenses? And if you look at it that way, price you pay and the interest rate you get don't even matter, right? What really matters is getting a good deal. So then the question comes to is, Pascal, how do I know what's a good deal? Because everything's so expensive now. What you need to determine is, how much cash flow can you make from this property? And then, based off of the interest rates that are available right now to you, what's that payment going to be? What's the taxes? What's insurance? What's the maintenance? And if that money, that amount of money you're spending is roughly 70% or less than the total income you're going to bring in, a conservative income number, then you're going to make money. But if you're being too liberal and too risky and you're just, shooting for the stars. I was with one of my investors. He showed me a property that he was interested in buying and adding to our portfolio. So I was telling him, hey, I've been looking at this property for the last 3 to 5 years. It's an awesome property. It's that church that they converted into a house in Tarpon. I said, but I ran the numbers so many times. It's not going to work. I would love to buy this property, but the numbers just don't work. So even though for that specific property, even though they're asking less money for the property and interest rates got lower and property values went up, it's still too expensive. Now, there's another property that was in a fourplex in St. Petersburg that previously, probably 3 years ago, I could probably get it for like $500,000. Today, I would have to pay $900,000 for it. But today, $900,000 justifies the fourplex because the rent itself has gone up so high in that market that the income is, and it's not just base rent, it's not just the high end of rent, but the base rent went up. So that means I can conservatively bring in the rent justifying to pay a $900,000 note at the current interest rates, and even if interest rates went up. So that is where you need to bring in your calculations. You need to know your numbers. Now, let's just say you don't know your numbers very well. Hire someone who does know their numbers, because you need to have another. You always should have a third party opinion that's not going to make money off the deal. Like asking your realtor is likely to give you a good answer, because if you buy the deal, they're going to make money. So it's always good to maybe get someone that doesn't matter if you buy the deal. It's better to get someone that doesn't care if you buy the deal. What they care about is making sure they're giving you proper information. And that's really key. So D says, hey, Pascal, hope you're well. Let's talk about taxes. What are some good nuggets for new coming tax year? So what I'm going to say is this. Anyone making over $400,000 a year is really going to get hurt bad with the Biden tax plan. Now you could say, well, I don't make over 400. You should try to make over 400. But yeah, you definitely need a great partner, a great tax professional to help you save money. Now, what you need to do is make sure that whatever you're investing in, a lot of people look to make investments that bring them in more money, which is what I do. I'm trying to always bring in more cash flow. But I want to make an investment into something that gives me more cash flow and gives me tax write-offs. For example, I'm not looking to buy more cryptocurrency. I'm looking to buy crypto mines. So I want to set up a fund. I'm working on setting up a fund right now so I can buy crypto miners and get the tax write-off for owning crypto miners. So now I'm investing in the net profit or the net goal of owning crypto, but I'm getting a tax write-off in the process because I have a business that is basically functioning and that's going to give me a tax write-off. So I'm investing in crypto with a tax write-off. How many people do that? But you need a plan, you need to strategize. So that's one way you can invest in crypto and save on taxes. Next thing I do is I invest in real estate and I get tax deductions for that. So everything I do, I always look at how can I make money? Is it conservative? Is it consistent? And do I get tax write-offs? If I can hit all four, then normally it's a go. And at that point, it's a go. I'll put them in the list of different options I'm going to look at to invest into and see which one's the highest return for the time. Now, there's some things out there that's like, wow, this makes a lot of money, but this thing is not in my normal wheelhouse. So I don't know if I'm going to take this on because it's going to take me way too much time to do this. So what I might do is I might partner with someone that's in this business so they can spend their time and I can just get a cut of the profit. It all matters. And once you get to a certain level where you have a certain amount of income coming in, then you can start diversifying. But here's a warning for you guys. I met a guy that was making about $50,000, $60,000 a year, and he was so diversified. He was more diversified than people that I knew that had tens of millions of dollars that was investing. He was so diversified, he was losing money on how diversified he was. You need to have an efficiency, you need to have a certain scale to gain the efficiency and then profitability. But if you're so diversified, you're wasting your time, you're wasting a ton of money in fees, and you're gonna waste a ton of money in trying to prepare your taxes. So you can be over diversified. There shows that there is a loss of return when you're really diversifying more than 5. If your diversification is more than 5, or if you're buying in more than 5 different types of stocks, the return or the safety you're getting from your diversification, it gets significantly reduced.
Do you see the question?
With the question section?
Yeah.
I'm pulling them up right now. Answer that one. Are you positioned to buy up property after the federal moratorium expires? So the federal moratorium currently should not make a significant effect on the amount of properties available on the market in the next 2 years. I'll repeat that. The moratorium it's going to take at least 2 years for any of those properties to hit the street. So the reality of it making a dramatic drop off because of how things are set right now, it's not really likely. The amount of properties that BlackRock is buying is absorbing up so much of the supply that there's such a small supply left compared to the demand, the prices are going to keep going up. The only areas, so when I was talking to Dr. Doug Duncan, he is the chief economist with Fannie Mae. They do the most lending in this country. Now I'm talking about 1 to 4 family, and I'm talking to apartment complexes. They do lending on both sides of the spectrum. So what he said they only saw 5 markets that are going through issues because of COVID. So basically it's New York, Chicago, and 3 different areas of California. Those are some areas they're watching, and there's some concern there. But not even the full market of New York, only certain pockets of New York, Chicago, and the different cities in California. So like LA, San Francisco, everywhere that they're talking about how there's all these homeless on the street. That's not every single city in California. That's really in the major metros where things have gone pretty crazy. Other than that, they see a reduced supply and a high demand. So when they asked Dr. Doug Duncan, prior to everything that we see today, so roughly about 6 months, a year ago, when are we going to start seeing all the foreclosures? When are we going to see house prices dropping? He replied with, it's more likely house prices are going to increase. And he saw this a year ago. And his rationale was this: between the eviction moratorium, people not wanting to leave out of their apartments, it's going to cause a crunch on the supply. In addition to that, older people have voiced their opinion time and again, and they've been saying this: they do not plan to move out of their home. So the older population is planning to age in place. Most of them do not want to go to an assisted living facility until they have to. So because of that, normally the older population would go and move in with their kids. That's not happening. The older population is keeping their house and living on their own, and they're having people come to their house and assist them with their medical needs. So because of that, that also is keeping the housing supply very low. The statistics are showing that the millennials are not even at their peak home buying level. There's another 4 years before the peak age for a millennial to buy a home, or for a peak age for a person to buy a home, which the current group is millennials, and that's 4 years from now. So demand is going to increase for homes from the millennial market over the next 4 years. In addition to that, we have the highest number of children living with their parents, and they want to move out. So after that, we still have a large chunk of people living with their parents that want to move out and get their own place. So demands for rent are going to continue to climb. What would have to happen? What caused 2008 to be so bad? It wasn't the fact that all these properties were getting foreclosed on. That was not the problem. The problem was more than one issue. So the other issue was, in addition to these foreclosures, you were not able to get a loan. Loans basically froze. You couldn't get a loan. There wasn't a secondary market. The whole banking system froze up. Because the banking system froze up, people couldn't get loans to buy the foreclosures. So as long as the banking system does not freeze up, as long as the banking system stays open and continues to function, people that want to buy homes are going to buy homes from the people that are getting foreclosed on. So it's still going to be absorbed. Now, what could happen is we would have to have a financial crisis and a dollar crisis. So we would have to have that freeze up the banking system, and it could come from the overnight banking. The overnight banking, there is an exchange in overnight banking where banks that need money will borrow money from banks that have extra. There's a liquidity issue. So that is the only issue that I see right now that needs to be resolved. Where's all that money disappearing? So Ronald asked a bunch of questions here on YouTube. Is it true that there is less people buying homes now because the limited inventory? Pascal, I wasn't able to refinance with you. Hopefully in 5 years, you should be good to go in New Jersey. Ronald says, I'm refinancing now with my current lender. Any tax advice for next year? Well, Ronald, you're asking me a very general question, right? I have to review your tax return to see your advice. But basically, make sure that your tax professional is using the expenses associated to refinance on your investment property on your tax return, so you can write off those costs. Send a message to Daniel. Daniel will be able to do your taxes and make sure that you're getting the proper deductions. Daniel, this is a different Daniel, not the one that works for me. Daniel says, what is the best area to buy an apartment or multi-units? Best area that I found is secondary and tertiary markets. So outside of any major metro, go to a secondary and tertiary market, and they're usually doing very well. Usually. Now, Michael Burry is saying all assets are inflated. He's right. They are inflated because the dollar is being devaluated. The thing is, if everything works out the way he says or he thinks is going to work out, what's going to end up happening is that the dollar is going to collapse. So if the dollar collapses, a new currency is going to pop up or need to replace it. So if that happens, or some people say when that happens, some people are speculating between 4 and 16 years it's going to happen. And then it's going to be replaced with a different currency. Some people think we're going to go back to gold and silver. Some people think it's going to be some type of crypto, Bitcoin, XRP, Ripple, Cardano. They're not really sure yet. The point is, what I get, so now since everybody's on from YouTube and IG, the general consensus from the seminar I went to, which is called the Summit on the Sand, this is has a lot of big players that come to this event. It is not a cheap event. It was $19,000 to go to this event. So the general consensus was you need to have assets. One second. One second, guys. Just trying to. Having a technical difficulty.
Right when you're about to drop them off the gold.
What? Freeze, pause. This is the time where you guys need to smash the like button. Subscribe on my channel. Follow me on YouTube.
On the edge of their
It's a great opportunity to plug, right? So I'm going to answer Maximo's question, and then we're going to get back to the point once we fix the technical difficulties. So Maximo says, lots of elite fund asset portfolios buying up lots of land and properties, even at high prices. Yes, that's correct. My fund is also buying a lot of properties. For those of you who don't know, I do have a fund myself where we purchase real estate, and we do allow people to partner with us. So for those that are interested in partnering with my fund, please shoot me a DM and we can set up a consultation call. Will this cause even more of a shortage, and what is the point of this strategy and how it can hurt regular buyers in the future? So yes, BlackRock bought, I think, 17,000 homes, and the average purchase price of the home, the average purchase was around $340-something thousand. So if you're wondering, hey, where did all the homes go that were 340 or less, or say 400 and less? Well, where they went is BlackRock bought them and other hedge funds bought them. So like I was saying, the supply keeps on getting reduced. It is very simple, supply and demand. As the supply gets reduced, the price is going to keep going up. So even if the foreclosures come, some company like BlackRock is going to buy them out. So all of the issues that we were seeing have been covered over for at least 2 to 3 years by the amount of money that they printed and the amount of inflation that's going to happen. COVID caused, with printing of money during COVID, that caused an inflation issue. On top of that, we have a supply chain issue. This is going to cause prices on all assets to go up and stay up for a number of years. So if you ask me, Pascal, when do I see the problem prices going down or adjusting? It will be 2 to 3 years now with what's going on. So if you can buy in a good area and have a good cash flow from that asset, I would continue buying. This is still a good time to buy for the good area that has a good cash flowing asset. All right, so
You want to circle back?
So let's circle back. What was the general consensus from the event that I went to, Summit on the Sand? My opinion, or what the general consensus was said by the multiple speakers, is that you need to, what the heck?
It's your battery.
Is there a charger for the thing?
Yeah, it's plugged in.
Yeah, but that's not the official charger.
Okay.
Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to resolve this. Let's see if this will work. Already the direct power will be better. All right, let me know if that works. Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna call on somebody. I'm gonna let someone join the live. Austin says, if I do a 3.5% down, how fast after rehabbing and gaining 20% equity, how fast can I do a cash out refi, or does it not matter how long? It does matter. There's a thing called seasoning, and normally it takes 6 months, sometimes 12 months before they'll use the new value on your refi. Yeah, you want to turn it off and let it like charge up some? All right. When will you have an Q&A based on non-Western or U.S. countries where the banking system isn't modern? You feel free to ask me about any question on the on third world countries. Third world countries function very similar to rural areas in America. The rural areas in America have similar problems than third world countries have, in the sense of lending is more difficult, and they have a compressed market. So all right, Clout, let's see what you have to say. Come on, Pascal, you're doing well for yourself. Invest in your cameras and audio system for your channel. Do you understand how expensive my camera is? It is not the camera. Like, I'm having other issues. And you know how expensive my mic is? Like, if you know the cost of all this equipment, you would be surprised. I'm having other issues in that, but I'm working on getting it fixed. I'm working on getting it fixed. So All right, it says you're not unable to. What are you guys talking about? Whatever you guys are seeing, I can't see it. What happened? I don't understand what they're talking about. I can't see what they're seeing.
You want to slide through and see what they're talking about?
Well, I can see the same thing on my screen, but they're saying they see something that I don't see.
Oh God, I don't know. I don't see what they're, I don't know. Someone said you had something inappropriate on the screen, but I don't see that either.
Yeah, I don't see it either. All right, well, I just banned them.
Okay.
Ban. Okay, so I did not, whatever you guys are seeing, I can't see them. Yeah, I just blocked those 3 people. Anyway, those guys are blocked. We can see you on Instagram, but not on YouTube. Yeah, I'm having technical difficulties on YouTube right now. So yeah, I blocked those guys. Anyway, let's see. Let's get back to the questions. So my buddy said he bought a house for $200K in 2016 in a seller's market, and the same house today is worth $700K. Your buddy's right. I bought a fourplex in 2015, 14-15, $200,000 for that fourplex. Today, that fourplex is close to $1 million. The market changed. Rents increased. Rents in that area were $500. Now rents for a 1-bedroom in that area are like $1,500. So you just got to make sure you're buying in the right area. And as the rents go up, your property value goes up. So location, location, location. And the property value is going to keep going up. Like I was saying, guys, yes, we want cash flow. But the goal is to have cash flow so we can afford amazing properties. We have cash flow so we can afford to make the mortgage payment on amazing properties. Are you taking off the battery?
No.
Okay. Alrighty then. So let's get back to the next questions. So Bella says, are you saying in 6 months will be up? Are you saying in 6 months will be opportunities to buy, but it's better to wait 1 year? Prices are insanely high. No, Bella, what I'm trying to tell you is that property values are going to stay elevated for probably 2 years. We're going to see them elevated for at least 2 years. They're going to, the number one factor for home prices is interest rates. I'll repeat that. The number one factor for pricing is interest rates. So as long as interest rates stay 4% or lower, even 4.5% or lower, prices are going to stay high. Okay? Prices are going to stay high. As long as we have around 4.5% or below, 4% or below on our interest rate on our home mortgages, they're going to stay high because most people, when they buy a house, they don't look at the price. They look at what is my monthly payment going to be. That's what they look at. So I do not foresee, based off of how low interest rates are, sorry, I had to block someone else. So guys, if you keep on acting up in the DMs, I'm just going to start blocking anyone acting up. Only professional comments, only professional questions. I'm here to help you guys. So if you want to learn, good. If you don't, it's all good. I'm going to start blocking people. So Point is, as long as interest rates stay low, home prices are going to stay high. As interest rates go up, home prices will come down. Now, because there's not much supply out there, home prices are staying high. So for prices to come down, we would have to have interest rate going up, and we'd have to have a significant supply hit the market. Both things need to happen. On top of that, what would make prices come down even more is people losing their jobs and not getting unemployment. So if we have really high unemployment, interest rates going up, and a large supply of homes coming in, that is what will cause prices to come down. Until all those things happen, we're not going to see a significant price come down. Now, do you wholesale or flip? So I do not wholesale, because anything that I like, I keep. And basically, I only look for things that I want to keep. So I find things that I want to keep, and I buy them, remodel them, rent them out, refinance. So I normally burr apartment complexes. Sometimes I do find a really nice house that I end up flipping. So I do some flips on single family homes or small multi-units, buy them, do full remodels, flip them off to someone else who wants to be a long-term holder. I do keep multi-units, but I make sure that it's location, location, location. If it doesn't have that, then I'm not really interested in keeping a multi-unit. So my question is, does it matter if you buy in a buyer's market or seller's market, you can still make profit? Yes. You can buy in a buyer's market, you can buy in a seller's market, you can buy in a flat market, you can still make money because you make your money in the buy. So if you're buying a good deal, that's it. You're making money. Like, it doesn't matter what the market, what happens. This is the point. Let's just say my safety harbor is 16 unit. I bought it for $1 million, invested $1 million. Now it's worth 3.7 million according to appraisal. I think it's worth 4.2 million, but either way, it's up 1.7 to $2 million above what I purchased it and renovated it. The amount of money it's generating to me today, even if the prices, the real estate market drops, it doesn't really matter to me, right? Because as long as the rent keeps coming in, and historically speaking, rents have not stopped coming in any downturn. Even in the Great Recession, 2008, it didn't stop coming in. And even with COVID, with the eviction moratorium, the collection rate from apartments were 97%. That means they were only losing 3% of the money, which is extremely well. Most people's performers are showing a 5% vacancy rate. So that's a 95% collection rate. That means we did better than what most people would have expected. The point is, as long as, okay, you're banned. All right, so as long as the rents keep coming in, it won't matter. Because if you have an awesome property, you should look at your properties as like collectibles, right? Back in the day, I was collecting Pokemon cards. I was looking for some rare cards, and I was rolling up to get more and more rare cards. What anyone else thought, how much that card was worth, I didn't care. The point was I wanted that card. And that's how you guys need to look at real estate. The real estate that I buy, I pick it because I want to keep it. And I want to keep it forever. So I buy it, I remodel it, I rent it out for higher amounts of money, and I refinance. I get almost all my money back, and normally I get more than what I spent on the property back, and I hold it forever. So that should be the goal, is buying awesome properties. And if you do it right, you're going to have an amazing cash flow, and you'll have a great lifestyle.
Do you want us to go back to what you were going to say?
Okay, so hopefully it's something, you know what? They don't want you to know this. That's what's happening. You think it's my technical, I spent a lot of money for this camera. They just don't want you to know the secrets, guys. And this is what I learned at the $19,000 conference that I went to. Again, Robert Kiyosaki was there. Ken McRae was there. Ken McRae is Robert Kiyosaki's business partner. He has 10,000 apartments. Dr. Doug Duncan, he's chief economist for Fannie Mae. We had George Gammon. We had many, many other big players there. And the general consensus was this. You need to have about 10% of your assets in gold and silver. Because if ish hits the fan, you're going to need gold and silver to trade and to have as a currency and as money if the dollar, becomes like Venezuelan money. So if the dollar devaluates and tanks, you need gold and silver. That's a great hedge. You need 80% of your money in assets that can be leveraged with long-term low interest rate debt, like a business or real estate. With real estate, you can get 30-year fixed rate, low interest rate debt. Because as the dollar goes down, the amount that you owe on your loan is worth less. So you make money on that spread. And lastly, the last 10% of your money should be in something that's speculative, that has a big upside potential. Something like cryptocurrency. How you want to invest is your choice. But this is what my understanding from what everybody was saying is a great blend for your portfolio. Because if the dollar does crash and we do have a need for another currency, cryptocurrency could be the option to replace the dollar and function globally. Where do you buy gold and silver? DM me. I'll send you the link to where you can buy some gold and silver, where you can buy physical gold and silver. And you don't want to buy it off of eBay because there's so many fake coins out there and fake gold and silver that it's not advisable. Alex says, do you own a business? If so, what is your business? So yes, I have an accounting firm. We do taxes, bookkeeping, and payroll for companies and individuals across the country, and some of our clients are all over the world. So if you need help with that, we're happy to help. We do home insurance, auto insurance, commercial insurance in Florida. We do mortgages, 1 to 4 family purchases and refis in Florida, Texas, Arizona, and we're working on we also will do in California, and we're working on getting New Jersey. It's taking us a long time to get New Jersey done. We have a property management company that manages all the properties, and we have a construction company that maintains and does repairs on our properties. So we basically fit the gamut on real estate investment. And I also have a real estate investment company, Core Capital. So people invest their money with me, and we buy large properties together in a partnership, and they get a share of the profits. So those are my 6 companies. Do you do consulting work? Yes, we do consulting work through my accounting firm. So normally we do financial and tax consulting through my accounting firm for local clients and people off of people online. Do you do Maryland refinances? No, not at the moment. Now, if you want to use my consulting firm to give you advice on how to structure your real estate deals so you can constantly get more loans and get more properties, we can give you advice on that, but we wouldn't be able to do the refinance for you. Now, for Florida, we could do the consulting and we could do the refinance. So we can do both. And again, across the country, we could do your taxes. So it doesn't matter what state you're in. We have a lot of clients in New Jersey, Chicago, and California that we're helping save a lot of money on their taxes. In your opinion, what are the 3 best states for real estate investing? Florida, Texas, Arizona. Okay, nice. I would love to know how to get started, but it's what's for another time, I'd say. If you haven't taken my course, Foundations of Personal Finance, I mean, if you don't have 30, 40 units, you really need to take my course.
I want to know how you got started.
Oh, I would love to know how. Oh, so at 14 years old, I learned that you could buy properties with loans. the bank will give you most of the money and you keep all the profit, and then someone else pays you to borrow the property, which is enough money to pay the taxes, insurance, all your costs, and pay the mortgage. I was like, why wouldn't everybody do this? People are paying you to borrow your stuff, and someone else is giving you all the money to buy the stuff. This is a no-brainer. So at 14, I heard about it, and from 14 to 19, I did basically everything I could to study and understand how does this work. So back then, I was really nerdy. It was not popular to be an entrepreneur or be a hustler. It was not popular, right? Now, and also anime. I used to watch anime. Wasn't popular. But now, every geeky thing I did is like cool all of a sudden, right? So anyway, so when I heard that, I geeked out. I learned everything I could about it. By the time I was 19, I was able to buy my first duplex. All those years of knowledge that I accumulated, once I got going, the snowball so quick. We started growing really fast. So if you guys are like, man, it's taking forever, don't worry. Because once you get going, and once you understand how to apply it, once you have the right people on your team, you have the right tax guy, the right mortgage guy, the right consultant, your right advisor, mentor, that money is going to grow quick, really, really fast. So at 19, I bought my first duplex. 20, I bought another one. 21, I bought my 7-unit. And then I bought another 5-unit triplex, duplex. So by the time I was 23, I had 23 units. I was, according to Robert Kiyosaki, I was financially free. I got out of the rat race. I made enough money from my cash flow to quit my job if I wanted to. I didn't choose to quit my job because I was like, why not? I can continue working. Now I got the amount of money I was making from my job. I was making the same amount of money through my passive income. So basically I doubled my income. Saved, bought more property. Saved, upgraded my existing property to increase the rents. Because sometimes it's better to just upgrade your existing property than it is to buy another one. You have to run the calculations to see which is financially the best decision.
I like this follow-up question with that. Were you financially stable when you bought your first property, or did you dive right in?
No, I dived right in. I mean, the thing is, you got to understand, I was 19 years old. I was making $8 to $11 an hour because I would be working my job and I would work like side jobs and stuff like that. I did it making $8 to $11 an hour. I saved $32,000 making $8 to $11 an hour. If you think making more money is going to then be able to help you invest, you have the wrong mindset. If you think that way, you will never make enough money to save. How do I know this? I know people currently that make $400,000 a year that from the beginning when they made nothing, they didn't have much to save. When they made more, they didn't have much to save. When they made a shitload, they didn't have much to save. Their brain. And everybody I say that to that has the wrong mindset doesn't like that answer. They want to hear, oh, you need more money. No, you can do it from $8 to $11 an hour. Is it difficult? Yes, it is difficult to become financially free. It is difficult to manage your own life and have your control of your own life. But it's also difficult to be poor. It's also difficult working for someone and then finding out you got fired and now you have no money coming in. That's also difficult. Choose your difficult. What I learned is this: you can either pick your life or life will pick it for you. You'll end up living a life that you had no choice about and you feel powerless. So it is better for you to pick your difficulty and have the control of your life and feel that I have some power. Eventually, you start picking and grabbing and climbing your way up to better and better and better decisions, better options, better lifestyle. And I had the decision that when I was financially free at 23 and making enough money for my rentals than I was from my job, I had the decision, do I want to keep on working or do I want to stop working? And I said, I'm going to keep working and I'm going to stack up that money and go bigger and badder and bigger and badder. So how do I have now $8 million in real estate at 35 years old? I clean like 30, 40,000 a month from rental property income. I make more money on my rental properties than my mortgage, taxes, and insurance company combined. I more than triple the income I make in that from the other one. The point is, I have the freedom to make the decision I want to make and keep going and help people on the finance side so they can get into the real estate side. Because most people don't have it right here and they don't manage this properly. Advice on someone who has approximately $600K in equity. Take the equity out. You can't go wrong with taking the equity out. Here's the way people can go wrong with taking the equity out. They blow the money on something stupid. People who are not good at managing their money like having the equity in their home because they can't touch it. They can't do something dumb with it. The issue is if the government does something dumb, your equity is wiped away. So I say it's better for you to take your equity out, put it in your pocket, and if the home values drop, who cares? You got all your cash out, or at least most of it out. Now, when you have the cash, what do you do with it? You invest it in something that's cash flowing, bringing you in money. If you need more money, more cash flow to diversify your income from your job. If you have a very stable job, you're a surgeon, right? And you got a great paying job, or you have a skill that's great paying and you don't need the cash flow. Then it's better for you to take some of that money and diversify it into silver, gold, crypto, and spread it. And along the way, you're going to have, out of the $600K, that's a good amount of money. Take some of that money and invest it into a syndication. A syndication is like something that what I'm doing, where I manage money and I buy a group of properties. So the money is spread out the risk over a group of properties. That's a really good way for you to diversify outside of the state that you live in. Because a lot of people live in LA and it doesn't make sense to buy properties in LA. They don't really make money. So it's an easier way for someone to invest in Florida and get the inside scoop on some of these deals that are coming that only an insider can get. So, and the other thing is when you're usually investing with a syndication, you normally get significantly larger tax breaks than if you were investing on your own. What's the current markets in Florida are you investing in? I'm investing in the Tampa market. I stick to the Tampa market because even if there was one that makes better money than the Tampa market, I have AC companies, electricians, I have my own construction crew. I have so many people within my circle that I can get work done quickly and for a better price than someone that I didn't know. So if I'm going into a new market, I got to create a whole new set of connections to help me do this properly. And I can run a really good business with really good margins this way.
There's a question here.
Go ahead.
I have a business, but it feels as if it isn't growing because of our economic situation. So my idea was to sell products online, but PayPal won't recognize the money or accounts from my country. How do I sail past this? So she's maybe not in the US.
She's obviously not in the US. You're going to have to, that's a very technical term, a technical question. So I'm going to try to say this. Even I, in the United States, have issue with PayPal. You're just going to constantly have to push to try to find another way to work with PayPal, or you're going to have to try another system, right? Because you can use Square, you can use a bunch of other payment methods that are available for online stores. But if your business is having a problem, try to take your business online. Don't go to just selling products online. Try to bring your business that you're currently doing online. There's an Amazon store that was doing $1 million in sales. By the time they took out every single expense and all the costs and everything, at the end of the year, the guy was only making $80,000. So when you see my business makes $1 million in sales, don't think that that person's making a lot of money. And then once the business is going and doing $5 million in sales, don't think the guy is now making 400 grand. Reality, that guy's probably still only making like 300 grand. Because once you go to that scale and that volume, you have a lot more overhead. So unless you're at 10, 15, 20 million in an Amazon store, you're really not making big money. And it's a full-time job. So be cautious. Now, some people are like, oh, my Amazon store is very passive. It could be passive, but you better have a fully set up business where you have everybody working and functioning so you don't have to work a lot. But most of the people that I know that have very large Amazon stores that are making lots of money, they're working 80 hours a week. They're not easily making $1 million because they're doing nothing. No, they're working 80, 100 hours a week to make that money. And very few people are making the $1 million profit after all expenses net to their pocket.
I like this next question.
What's up?
What is your view on rental property after COVID?
I love it. I had no COVID evictions, and I had no people not paying me because of COVID. Again, the national average for collection rates during COVID was 97%. When anyone's filling out when anyone's running their pro forma, their estimate, a pro forma is their estimate on how much they're going to make for a property. All pro formas, at minimum, have a 5% vacancy. That means we did better than the basic estimate for vacancies. They did 97% collection. So you need to underwrite your property properly. So if things happen, and things happen, you can roll with it. You can handle it. All right. Let's see if I can add Sam. For some reason, I'm not able to add people. Or if I am, I can't tell. All right, multifamily apartment, 2 to 4 flat. I'm a beginner and finished your course. I need to start looking. Yes, that's awesome. You took the course. Now you need to go. You need to apply the information. You need to go out there and look for property, look for deals, and study your market. You need to know your market better than anybody else. Normally, when I'm buying a property, within a few minutes of it being on the market, I'm calling in and I'm saying, I'll buy it or I won't buy it, right? In my head, I'll know I'm going to buy it or not. And for example, the property, the historic house, we just finished the remodel on it. 1 year ago, it hit the market. In less than 10 minutes, I called the realtor and told her I'm going to buy it. Within less than 10 minutes, I could tell that was a good deal. If you can't do that, then you need to study your market more.
The guy was on, but then he was off.
Yeah, for some reason, it's the connection's not that great. I don't know what it is. Okay. All right. So Maximo says, you talked about a very interesting topic of setting up a mining fund for crypto and tax credits. What is the setup to begin? One. Well, one, you have to set up a fund and you have to have a lawyer register it with the SEC. I have a lawyer that does that. And then from there, you communicate with mining or a company that sells mines, and then you got to communicate with a farming pooling outfit that can combine everything together. So then you can have them mine the crypto for you, send you the crypto, and then the lawyer has everything set up so you can create the fund, and then my accounting firm would do the taxes to make sure that the investors would get the write-off. So it's about 4 to 5 step process if I simplify that.
Did you read Anna's question?
No, I didn't see it.
She had 2 properties and she has two properties in DC. One is paid off, and then the other one isn't. Should she set up an LLC?
She should cash out refi, the one that's Personally, right, what I would do is I would cash out refi, take the cash out. Because if the cash is out of the property, if someone sues you, it's harder for them to get it. And then you could put it into an LLC. Now, if you don't want to take the cash out, okay, that's your choice. It's not a good idea in my opinion, but you can put it in an LLC to limit the liability. But make sure that you have at least 2 members in that LLC, because the Florida Supreme Court determined that a single member LLC is a disregarded entity. So that means if I had an LLC by myself and only my name, there's no other partner in the property, if I got sued personally, the LLC wouldn't even matter. They could still go after that property. So make sure you do it properly. Do you swing or day trade? I don't, because I don't find it valuable. When you look at how much people make on day trading, 99.9% don't make any money. And if you consider the tax consequences, they're so high, very, very few people make money. So not worth it. 2, when you're trading, you're basically working for money. I don't want to work for money. I want to buy real estate and buy them, remodel them, rent them out, refinance them, and then have money coming in consistently for the work that I did one time. Now, again, I'm doing bigger apartment complexes. So now it takes me 1 year to get it done. But now after it's done, God willing, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be printing money out of that property for the work I did once. That's what I prefer doing. Did I do trading in the past? Yes. Did I make some money? Yes. But it's like the money you make for the time you spend, in my opinion, is just not worth it. Now, if you talk to a trader that's extremely good, and again, there's not many of them that are extremely good, but the ones that are extremely good would say, no, I think trading is better than real estate, or they could think trading is better than real estate. Of course they think that way, because they're the top 1% and they can do amazing things in real estate that are in trading that they couldn't do in real estate because they don't have that skill set. So you also have to understand who you're asking. You know, you got to consider who's a person, what's their subject matter expertise. You know, if you ask BitBoy, you know, what he thinks is the best asset out there, he's going to tell you Bitcoin. He's going to tell you crypto, because that's his expertise, and he can make money and he understands things better in that space than real estate or stock trading or whatever else, you know, Forex trading.
Did you read that one by Arturo?
What should I do after my cash out refi? Do you think it's a good time to buy right now? Yeah, if you get a good deal, if you buy a good asset, it's a good time to buy. You got to remember, location, location, location. So if you can get a great location, a really good asset, then you should buy it, right? It's always going to be a good asset. And even if the dollar falls and property values diminish and so on, there's still going to be people that want to rent it. So you're going to still have money coming in. So what you got to do is make sure you have a good, low interest rate, long-term loan. That way, if property values fall, doesn't matter. What's the next question?
What happens when you pull all the equity out of your investment property, have no equity, only rent coming in, then the rent dries up in the dip? And you still have to pay the mortgage?
That's not accurate, right? Because you're not assessing it properly. So let's see if this works. We're turning that off anyway. All right, it's gonna be backwards. Okay, Hannah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it around.
Okay.
And I want you to do it this way and then adjust this as you see fit. Whoopsie. All right. Okay, so then I guess scroll in and then just move the camera around as you need it. So let's just do a real example, okay? Because you're asking a general question, and in theory, in a vacuum, your idea is nice. Maybe you want to adjust that in case that comes back on or whatever. So let's just say, and again, you're never gonna get 100% loan to value on an investment property, but let's just say you have a 200,000, yes, lovely, perfect.
That orange one's not really good.
Go check, if you can go check outside, there's another whiteboard out there with a whole bunch of markers. All right, so let's go. What I'm doing right now is showing you how a cash out refi works on an investment property and what happens when the market tanks. So you have a $200,000 property, okay? The bank's really only gonna let you get out max on investment property 75%. So they're gonna let you get $150,000 out on the loan, okay? Now this property, this is what you purchased it for, okay? We're gonna make, this is on a fourplex. 4-family home. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this fourplex, I bought it for $200,000 7 years ago. Today, we'll just say it's worth $800,000, okay? I think it's worth $1 million, but we're just gonna say $800,000 to keep it simple. I get a cash out refi, 75% loan to value. I get $600,000 out, okay? $600,000 is what I take out of this property. More than what I bought it for. So now I have no money in this deal, okay? I'm over $400,000 on top of what I bought it for, cash out in my pocket. First point, if the real estate market tanked, do I even care that I now have a more loan than the property is worth? So let's just say the property falls to $500,000. It goes down to $500,000, but I have a loan of $600,000. Am I gonna care so much? I have $400,000 in cash in my bank account. That's actually better for me because now the equity in the property is not stuck in jail. I took the equity out. If I didn't make this move and I didn't take the cash out and now the market's down in 5 years from now, okay? If I try to get a loan at this point at 75%, I would only get about $350,000 out. $250,000 would be locked, would have disappeared. But instead of it disappearing, I have that cash in my bank account. That's the point. The equity is locked up like a jail in your building. You don't want it to be locked out. Free it up. Take it out. Put it in your savings account. And then find another asset to buy. The goal isn't to have cash. Cash isn't real. Cash is a currency. Cash itself, if you don't understand what cash is debt. Every year, the government is charging you 3% interest on the cash you own. And how are they charging it to you? It's called inflation. So spend your cash. Cash is a problem. It's not the solution. You need to get rid of your cash and trade it for real estate, for gold, for crypto, for an asset, a business that's printing you more money that you can get more freedom. Now, you're saying, well, what if the market tanks? A $600,000 loan is roughly, on today's markets, about $2,500 a month on the mortgage payment. Then you got taxes and insurance and other fees. We're just gonna say it's $1,500 a month. $4,000 is all your expenses for this property. But you should be bringing in at least $6,000 a month at this property. If it's an $800,000 property, you should be at minimum bringing in $6,000 a month. So if it's $6,000 a month and your expenses are $4,000, you're making $2,000 a month profit. If you lose one tenant, you're only losing $1,500 a month. So you're still making $500 in this scenario. You're making $500 and you have $400,000 cash. Are you saying you'd rather have a lower mortgage payment and have $1,000 less in your mortgage payment? Why would you want to have $1,000 less in your mortgage payment when you can have the difference between these numbers is $250,000 in cash? I could basically pay a mortgage for 20 years. The market could go bad for 20 years, and I could pay the difference for that long. But in this scenario, if you look at the numbers, even if I had a 50% vacancy, I'm still better off taking this cash out. I'm still better off in this situation to take the cash out and risk having a 50% vacancy. Now, this is the point. These two decisions don't automatically, one does not mean the other. Just because you took the cash out doesn't mean you're gonna have a 50% vacancy. What I'm saying is, worst case scenario, I'd rather have the cash and a 50% vacancy than not have the cash and have a 50% vacancy. Because what you're saying is shit's gonna hit the fan and you're not gonna be able to make your payment. Well, if shit's gonna hit the fan and you cannot make the payment, I'd rather have $400,000. So the next point is this. What did I say? Most people run a vacancy ratio of 5%. But right here, I just showed you, I can have a 25% vacancy, 1 out of 4 not paying, which is a 25% vacancy, and still make money. Now, this is another reason why you need to use debt. If I did this, right, I could use this 400 grand to buy me another probably $2 million worth of real estate. Because I can use this 400 grand to buy me $2 million worth of real estate. $2 million of real estate in a lower middle income area gives me 20 more units. That is 20 more doors. So I got 20 more doors. If I lose 5 people, now I got 24 total, I'm still breaking even on these numbers. But the reality is, my vacancy is what? 5%? So even if the market tanks and the property values drop and everything you're saying that goes wrong, if we have another COVID, the vacancy ratio is 3%, I'm still making 20+% on that spread. So the numbers, you're giving general statements that sound scary, but you're not putting it in the real world with real numbers. Because if you put it in the real world with real numbers, you're gonna see that it is better for you to do a cash out refi, have little equity in the property, and still be able to cover all the payments if things fall. Now, please give me a follow-up question. I want to make sure that I'm journaling it in properly. Did you find the markers?
Nope, there's none.
Beautiful. All right. Fill up the next question.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap up in a minute. All righty, guys. What's the next question?
Are you smaller for a 30-year fixed rate loan or going commercial exclusively and changing what the loans will be then at the time of refi?
So it's conventional loans have the best rate and terms. So if you get a conventional loan, it's normally 20 to 25% of equity needed. The rest you can get in debt. The rates are going to be 3.5 or less current in the current market right now. So they're usually a better option than the non-conforming debt. And then Fannie Freddie Mac has loans for over $1 million for larger complexes. Also, they're going to be around 3.5%, 30-year mortgages. And there's actually some lower income options where if you have like a lower income properties, they'll give you 35-year debt. So, which is also a nice option as well. So, That's why I prefer the 30-year option. Now, do I have commercial loans? Yes. All right, now I have some commercial loans at 4.5% interest rate, and they have a 25-year term. That was the best option for my situation, and I was fine with it, and I'm still making lots of money on my property.
Any thoughts about 203K loans?
203K loans are nice, but normally if the property has a heavy 203K loan, for whoever doesn't know, is a construction loan, and it's a very low down payment when you purchase the property. So it's a low down payment loan, and they will cover the cost for construction, meaning to fix the property up. The issue is if the property needs lots of work, a 203K loan will not work. That loan is normally between, I think, like 60, maybe 100,000 total in rehab. So if the property needs a ton of work, it's not happening. Next thing, you have to make sure you get a certain GCs that qualify to work on the property. You can't fix it yourself. So just be conscious to see, is this really going to work out to make you money?
Next question is, what's your thoughts on real estate and investing in South Carolina?
There's a lot of people who are interested in South Carolina. Now, if you mention a state and you're like, what do you think of this state? I'm not going to say everything in that state's good. What I am saying is make sure whatever state you're buying in, you should be buying in a secondary or tertiary market. And in that secondary and tertiary market, focus on the downtown core, because those markets, I believe, are going to do very well over the next 15 years.
Is it smart to buy where I live now in the Metro Detroit area, even if I'm planning to move and buy in Chicago, for example, within a year or two? My main concern, go ahead.
So, if you buy a great property in a great location, you're going to be good. It'll be fine. Because when you get a realtor, the realtors are going to want to rent your property because it's in high demand. But if you're going to buy in like an area of town people really don't want to be in, and then you move out, a good realtor is not even going to want to manage that property. So now you're going to be stuck with a bad realtor in a bad area with a questionable property. You just have all the ingredients to have a bad deal. If you buy in a good area, you're going to be able to find a good realtor, and she's going to be able to find good tenants.
One question here. My family has a single family home, and we would like to get into the multifamily space. How would you do that efficiently in California?
So I would cash out refi in your house, take out as much equity. Then after you do that, I would get a home equity line of credit to pull out the rest of the equity. So basically you have zero equity in your home, which is a preferred method for me. I think that's the best. At that point, you use all that cash to buy a current multi-unit that's currently rented in a good area. At that point, start fixing the property up so you can start basically burring a multi-unit. If you buy in a good area, in a demand area, you can force the property up, you can make it worth more money. If you don't buy in a great area, then you're not gonna do very well. So guys, it's now 10:40. I'm really happy to answer everybody's questions. As a reminder, I have an accounting firm, insurance agency, and mortgage company. If you need help with accounting, insurance, or mortgage, please DM me. I do have a real estate investment fund, so if you guys are looking to invest in real estate, feel free to contact me, and you can partner with me on larger deals. We're buying a ton of property by the water right now. We're closing on our most recent fund this Friday. It's really sick, really awesome property. One of the properties that we're looking to add to the package is right on Beach Drive, so it's an awesome view. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you guys telling your friends to follow, for subscribing, for liking, for commenting on all my stuff on YouTube and IG. I really wish you guys the best. God bless you. Have a good night.